We know that Homo is just close by. Let's go to Otublohun here in Accra, where Maxwell Agbagba is standing by to speak to Numo Blafo III, who is a spokesperson for the committee to ensure compliance to the ban on noise making, drumming and noise making. And we know that it heralds the Homo within that period, prior to the main event, is marked. No entity or individual or household is supposed to make noise during the period. Good morning to you, Maxwell.
Good morning, Roland.
You usually make noise around here. Sometimes I'm trying to synchronize you making noise and going to ask Numo Blafo not to make noise. So just go ahead, please.
Okay, sure, Roland. So as you rightly mentioned, we're here at Otublohun, in the heart of Gamashi. On a normal day, when you come here, you see a lot of pubs, a lot of people playing, music from their rooms, and anywhere you pass, you hear some traditional music of a sort, or some hip life or high life, mostly Gan songs when you're walking around. But it looks like it is all peaceful here today. We don't have in fact, we don't have any noise, at all. And we are sitting right here in the middle of the streets. And as you mentioned, I'm here with Numo Blafo. He's the spokesperson for the compliance committee, ensuring that people adhere to the ban on noise making and drumming. He's also the Blafo Wulamo. And he's here to give us some education on the ban and why, the ban itself, is necessary. Numo Blafo, you're welcome to JoyNews.
Thank you.
First 2 days of the ban on noise making, on drumming and noise making, how's it gone so far?
Generally, I would say it's fair, peaceful, and we haven't had any incidents yet. But actually, we are not also expecting any incidents. Yeah.
Are people complying?
Yeah, as you can see, within the Gamashi area, there is compliance, but on the outskirts is where we normally anticipate people will be a bit stubborn and all that, and that is where our task forces have actually been dispersed to go to see that people are complying. So for Gamashi, you will not, we won't expect anybody to go contrary to the rules that actually governs this period. But outside Gamashi, maybe the outskirts of towns and some of our outlying villages and towns, that is where normally we get problem from. Yeah.
I think it's quite understandable that the people here at Gamashi would not flout the directive, but for those who are outside, perhaps because they really do not appreciate or do not understand the significance of the ban on drumming and noise making ahead, of the Homo Festival. Maybe you want to throw more light on that. I'm sure a lot of them are watching us, a lot of people are watching us from different regions and from different places today. You want to tell us the significance of the ban on noise, on noise making?
Okay, this, I would say these rights or this observance did not just come out of nothing. But the Gans have a history. And according to history, we migrated from somewhere which is actually something that is being contested. Because people are saying we migrated from Israel and all those kind of things. But then, if you look at the state of Israel, Israel itself was created in the year 1948. Meanwhile, we Gans were already here, so nobody can tell me that we migrated from Israel.
There are some who say Ile-Ife in Nigeria.
No, we passed there. We stayed there for a while before coming. And so that is something I'm contesting. So during the migration, there was famine at a point. And it happened that, the main gap group coming, they have different groups within the main group. So it's like, okay, we cannot all put our eggs in one bag. Like say, if we want to do farm, we cannot all go and farm at a particular place. So why don't we take it like the groups within the main group, each group will do a farm, so that at least if one fails, another will succeed, so that at the end of the day, we will get some food to feed the people. So that's what happened, and by God's grace, they had plenty. And in so doing, after harvesting, what they did was that we guys believe that even when you die, you still have your soul living. So that is where we have homowo, where we sprinkle some of the food that we have actually prepared out of the harvest that we got from our farms. So homowo itself is literally hooting at hunger. That means it's like we have overcome hunger, and something that we don't expect to happen again.
But for the purpose of the ban on drumming and noise making, is it supposed to make the gods, be at rest, or what exactly is the significance?
You see, when you are seriously engaged in farming activities, at what time would you get to go doing parties, funerals, enjoying yourself and all that? You understand? In fact, if you are a farmer, you know the farming season.
Okay.
And you know the period before the farming season, and you know the activities that you engage in before you even go and plant. So when you are engaged in all these activities, you need all the time, the concentration and all, for you to be able to concentrate on the farming activities. And during this time too is when we, the priests and the priestesses and others, we go into what we call our gbachun occasionally to pray for good harvest, to pray for the good of the state, the country at large. Before, when we guys started observing this period, we didn't have even the Gold Coast. So now that we are of a collective part of a whole, whatever we do, we don't look at us as Ghanaians alone to benefit, but we look at the generality of Ghanaians and everybody as at least also to have or to benefit from it. If you look at it this way, imagine that there are problems around us. Would we be safe? We ourselves wouldn't be safe. We wouldn't have that peace of mind to even engage in our trading activities or our fishing activities. Ghana communities or the Gamashi area is predominantly a fishing community. So if there are fights all over, around us, do you think we will have that peace of mind to even engage in any activity at all, productive activity, There wouldn't be. So when we pray, we don't just pray for Ghana alone, but we pray for the collective whole. That is the Ghana as a whole. And even maybe if we can reach to God to even spare the world of certain catastrophes, yes, we pray so that at least there will be general peace everywhere, so that we can also have some peace to live and go about our normal activities.
Okay. One of the challenges of enforcing this ban is sometimes people who arrogate to themselves powers that they do not deserve. They just gather and then form their own task force and then go around enforcing that people do not make noise. But in the release from the AMA, we saw that now you have accredited members of the Traditional Council who are supposed to do that, and then the AMA personnel, and then some other people. How are you also dealing, with the possibility of people who are not empowered to enforce the law arrogating to themselves, those powers?
You see, these are issues that normally borders on how people will actually comply, and even utterances from people. Because, for example, maybe somebody in somewhere like Ablekuma, for example, may not be part of the task force. But then, if you are there and you are going contrary to what the rule says, that doesn't mean that person cannot stop you.
Okay.
That person can stop you, all right. But you see, where we have the problem is where people will go seizing people's things, and then at the end of the day, nobody knows where they take it to. Because it's supposed to be returned to the person after the ban has been lifted, and you, the person, have come and performed, some rights are performed for you. Some fines will be taken from you. But it's also like the fines that are taken from people are not punitive enough, so people don't feel it and they do what they like. And then some people also hide behind the Bible and say that this is fetishism and whatever, and I mean all sorts of names. And therefore they are Christians and they will do what they like. Like some pastor was on one radio station recently, in fact this Monday, castigating the Ghana chiefs and everybody and all. So you see, if somebody knows that pastor and the person is in the vicinity of that pastor's church, what do you think will happen? You understand? Because you are inciting people and you are inflaming people's passion. Because everybody is passionate about his or her culture. And nobody will sit down for you, even not an indigene, to come denigrating his or her culture. Definitely they will come at you. So these are issues that we always want to intensify our public education. In fact, that is why this year we have intensified the public education so that at least people will stop those kind of things they say. Because things you say are what somebody will also stand on to show you that, okay, if you say this, that means you can do this, therefore they will show you what they can also do. But all we are saying is that, look, to avoid all this violence and all these kind of problems, why don't we just, because comply, it's just for a month and it's over.
Sure. No more Blafo, we are wrapping up this conversation in 1 minute, but my final question would be, the arguments that some are putting forward that they feel that the Ghana culture gradually is eroding away with the, with the many chieftaincy disputes that has plagued, the chieftaincy institution, here. We know that during Homowo, chiefs go out to sprinkle pipi and all of that, but on many occasions they have to do that under, security, protection. As we are about to celebrate Homo, I'm sure you have a word for, all those, fighting claimants to, to the gas too, and then in other places where there are issues with the chieftain institution there in the Gamashi specifically.
What I would just like to say is that, yes, this is very troubling and worrying. Though we have chieftaincy issues all over Ghana, there's no region where we don't have chieftaincy issues. But all the time, it seems Ghana chieftaincy issues are more prominent because this is the capital, so all eyes are here. Therefore, whatever we do, even the little spark, then it's like everywhere is burning. So I would just plead with the claimants that, look, they are elders and they know the right thing. We should come together, find the problems, whatever the problems are, we can settle them. We can settle it with words, not with bullets or cutlasses and machetes and clubs and all that. We can settle this issue with just dialogue, and we can find a lasting solution to this.
Well, so I hope all of us in Accra are getting ready for the Homo. It's the main festival for the Gans, and just has an intention of hooting at hunger. At least that's what, when you read literature, you're told about the Homo festival. But we'll be telling you a lot more. Maps?
So on today's JoyNews agenda, more than 3 million people along the coastal belt of the country continue to hope the government's promises to them would be fulfilled. At the manifesto launch of the NPP, the party promised to construct 10 landing beach sites and provide other tools and facilities for the development of sustainable fisheries sector. But the fishermen say none of the 10 landing beach sites have been constructed and not much has been done to improve their lot. Bridget Kojonyako has our JoyNews agenda for today.
It's a Monday afternoon and the fisher folks here at Elmina are busily mending their nets after a night of fruitless search for fish. The new patriotic party in the run-up to the 2016 elections promised the fishermen it would build 10 landing beach sites in the various fishing communities along the country's coast. The party was convinced the promise was part of its major vision to transform Ghana's fishing industry if it was voted into power. The focal person for the NPP's Agric ahead of the 2016 elections, Elizabeth Afolekwe, now the Fisheries Minister, at the party's manifesto launch, said the NPP would develop a sustainable fisheries sector by making available the necessary tools and facilities for fisherfolks in Ghana's fishing communities. But the fishermen say such promises are yet to be fulfilled.
Mori, Winneba.
Towns like Mumford, Winneba, Cape Coast, Apam, Mori were all promised landing beach sites, but they are yet to be delivered. I will plead with government to look at the needs of the fishermen. Now the world is becoming a scientific place. When you promise the fishermen, they won't forget the promise. They will hold you down on the promise. Because previous administration, where the mistake can be, why any catch one pen. When you do something against the fisherman, do not think he has forgotten. He will certainly punish you if care is not taken. And that's all. Ejabedu is a fisherman at Central Region's Elmina. He was part of the people that protested against the previous government for the hardships the fishermen claimed they were going through. Bedu feels people responsible for the fisheries sector in government should literally drop the pen and paper and come down to the grounds to see their challenges.
Campaign campaign now I'm a major way for you na maka champion for the master one for piano to Accra na yamblo.
When the government was campaigning for votes, we all went to the coastal communities to convince them to vote for the government because we were disappointed with the previous administration. We will plead that they put their pen and paper down and come down to see things for themselves. His colleague, Papa Kojo, shares similar sentiments but believes government should be given some time to fulfill its promise of the construction of the landing beach sites, since some positive steps have already been taken by government. When any government comes to power, it needs to put things in place before they tackle their promises. They might have some challenges. They have 4 years and we want to believe they will honor their promises. The trawlers are becoming too many on the sea, while the local fishermen are also using lights for fishing. The fishermen continue to use illegal fishing methods. Government needs to tackle these as they promised. All these are contributory factors and the reasons why there is declining fish stocks. Like Ejabedu, Papa Kojo wants government to get fishermen some outboard motors, since it is becoming scarce for the fisher folks to get equipment for their work. The fishermen on a daily basis pray and hope that government that promised them many goodies during its manifesto launch would deliver on its promise to the fishermen. Richard Kwejo Nyako, Joy News, Cape Coast.